and welcome to Beyond the Bio. This week, I'm joined by John Forth, who is a speaker, coach, and founder of Is This You, a coaching academy that blends emotional intelligence with real-world strategy. After building a 7-figure property business and losing it all in the 2008 crash, John rebuilt from the ground up. His journey through failure, growth, and self-leadership shaped his mission to help others create businesses and lives they truly love. As co-host of the hugely popular Northeast BIC Growth Lab events, he brings energy, insight, and authenticity to every stage. John's message is simple. The power to change your life and maximize your business or career starts with you. Let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome to Beyond the Bio, John Forth.
Thank you, Sophie. I've been wanting to come on for ages, so I'm really pleased to be here.
And we were just chatting literally the other day, weren't we, about your personal branding journey and how there's been a couple of influences on that, but actually the impact that you have seen since you started taking personal branding seriously over the, 18 months or so?
18 months, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Absolutely. You're one of the influencers, Sophie.
I'll take that, John.
And Daniel Priestley as well. So I think my journey, I have shared quite a lot about my journey and I've had a couple of 7-figure businesses, but I've also had some real challenges. I lost a business in the financial crash of 2008, and that took a long time to rebuild and come back from. But all my businesses have been kind of me sat behind a team or behind a keyboard, and I've never really been front and centre. And obviously understanding how the narrative around founder-led businesses has been so strong, especially since COVID. And especially with AI. And so about 18 months ago, I got the opportunity to deliver a growth lab. And I think moving to business development at the BIC and housing my business, Is This You, at the BIC, has been a total game changer.
And let's just talk about what the BIC is, because we've got listeners from all over the world,
right,
and they're not going to know what the BIC or Growth Lab is. So let's do a bit of a shout out for the BIC and Growth Lab.
Let's do it. So the BIC is the Business Innovation Centre, so everyone knows it as the BIC. So it's the Northeast BIC, and the BIC houses 140 businesses. And it provides business support at all stages. And it's got some absolutely fantastic space to build a business. But what it also has is it has co-working space. So whatever stage you're at, there's something for you there. And you can get one-to-one support, loads of different workshops, but you've got the community, and the community is super strong. And we all know, we're a Northeast BIC, but the business development in Sunderland is huge at the moment. Obviously, there's a lot of catching up to be done in Sunderland, and it's happening now. Within the last sort of few years, the regeneration has been astounding. So lots of different support. We housed ourselves there as Is This You from the outset, because we knew about the support, we knew about the community, and obviously I do work for the BIC in terms of innovation and growth. So I work with businesses as a consultant and a coach. And it just seemed like the place to be. So we housed ourselves there. And the game changer for me was really being asked to do a growth lab. So
what's a growth lab?
A growth lab is the BIC signature event for growing businesses. And we started off around 18 months ago. My first event was around 30 businesses in the room. And we've grown rapidly since to the event where you did a keynote, Sophie, on Friday. We had 150 plus businesses in the room to talk about personal branding. We had some amazing guests. So it's gone from strength to strength. So there's the Growth Lab and there's the BIC, and then we house Is This You there as well. And we're a coaching business, so our motto is really lives well lived, and what we try and do is help people to build lives and businesses they love. Amazing. And we use all of our experience in business and all of our personal development work to bring that all together in a kind of holistic package. So it's working really, really well.
Exciting. And we will definitely talk a bit more about Is This You. But tell us a bit more about this personal branding journey. So 18 months ago, you're starting to do more with Growth Lab. What kinds of things have you been doing that have increased your visibility? What's working? And have you tried anything that actually hasn't worked? Tell us what's been good and what hasn't.
So I started off by reading Daniel Priestley's Key Person of Influence book.
Quality book. Quality guest has been on the
Quality guest,
show.
friend of the show. So that's where I started, basically. And I did that roadmap, that whole kind of, okay, these are the fundamental elements that I need to be doing. But I started off with the game changed for me when I opened up about my story, because as a coach and as a business person, I wanted to be able to be really authentic and stand out and say, okay, this is me. I'm not perfect. I've had my challenges, but I've ridden every step of that entrepreneurial journey, and I can help you do the same. Not make the mistakes I made, and really help elevate your growth. So I told my story, warts and all. And the reaction to that was amazing, absolutely amazing. So that was my first step to really sort of thinking, I've got a story to tell here.
And when you told that story, was it at an event in person where you're speaking at an event, or was it online?
It started with a LinkedIn post.
Right.
And then it just fed into all of my events and all of my speaking opportunities. And it was then that people started to, I became myself, if you like. I didn't have a mask on. I wasn't hiding behind anything. So I was able to then let my personality come to the forefront. I wasn't pretending to be something I wasn't. I was a flawed but very, very experienced business person and coach. And I think that has been the big, big change. And since that, I feel like I found my voice in everything online and offline. So now when you see me at an event, I'll talk about my journey, and I'll talk from the heart, and I'll be vulnerable. But I'll also bring out a lot of humour, and it all started with that journey, with that opening up once, and then I realised it wasn't as scary as I thought. It was scary to post that. Mind, I sat with that post with a finger on the button for a long time, but once I'd posted, I just thought, well, what was I scared about? I got such a brilliant reception. Everybody really welcomed that sort of transparency, and everybody got engaged in the journey I'd been on. And I never looked back since.
Funny, isn't it, that we get in our own heads a bit? Like, I was like that when I was a few years into business. Well, in fact, it was right at the start of having my first business, and I'd got divorced about 6 months in, about 6 months in, and became a single parent. My daughter, Jess, was 2 at the time. And I used to hide that from everyone because I worried. I didn't know anyone that was a single parent. I didn't know anyone that got divorced. And I had all these things in my head around how people would perceive that, and what would people think of me? Would people have these thoughts that I'm going to be unreliable, or I'm going to have to jump and go to the nursery, all these things. So I didn't tell anyone, and I would hide it almost. Yeah. And then when it got to a point where I thought, actually, this is just ridiculous. This is me, and this is my, my situation and my truth, if we want to be a bit cheesy. But that is the reality. And I wanted to start bringing it to stuff because it was easier. Yeah. So I just started talking about it. And it's funny now because I do still talk about being a single parent, and it is the thing that seems to connect with people the most, because that's what people want to hear about. And there are more single parents now as well, so there's a lot of that, and I think there's a lot less stigma attached to that, so people see it as just normal now. So again, what was I even thinking about? Yeah. And like I say, I talk about it a lot. I was at Ideas Fest a couple of weeks ago, and I was on a panel, and we were all people that had sold businesses, and we were talking about stuff, and the host asked us all, what was one thing that you all bought after you sold your businesses? And the guy next to me was like, a yellow McLaren, or something ridiculous, or the lad's like, although he did take the mick out of himself about it. And I said, well, as a single parent, I sat down with my daughter and we planned 8 holidays the year afterwards, which was amazing. We were like, where we're going to go in the world. And, it was just a kind of short comment around answering that question. But afterwards, I had a queue of people, and the majority of them were, I'm a single parent, and it's really exciting to be able to see someone that's a little bit further down the journey, who's had some success. And I feel like that's in touching distance. And I was like, why did I hide this for so long, when actually I'd have loved to have seen that person on the stage saying the same thing to me 10 years earlier?
Yes, exactly.
It's funny, isn't it?
Exactly. So we've both had similar realizations and opened up.
And I bet you've had no grief to that post.
Absolutely not.
No judgment.
The exact opposite. Yeah. Because I think as well, since COVID, the mental health has been much more accepted, having a mental health problem, etc. And although I wouldn't define mine as an acute mental health problem, I certainly had some mental health challenges.
Right.
And when I opened up about that, it was just so widely accepted, supported, but also, exactly as you've said, people saying it's great to see someone succeeding having been through what I've been through. And so it's one of the reasons why I'm an ambassador for two men's mental health charities, one Space Northeast and the other the Sunderland Foundation of Light, because I'm really passionate about mental health. And it's amazing when you do a coaching session, but you talk about the person's issues, challenges, there might be some mental health issues there, and then how to scale their business. So we're covering such a wide variety of topics. But because I've been through all of those things, I would never try to coach something that I've no experience of. And I have experienced it all. And because it's out there and everyone knows that story.
You've got that credibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People are saying, yes, I can see that this person can help me because they've had the same challenge.
And it's the fact that actually all those things are linked.
Yeah.
You can't just do business coaching or just do
Exactly
it is all linked. Really interesting hearing you there talk about some of those charities that you're supporting, because we were talking at the event last week about how charity roles really do support your own brand, and that feels like they're both a really great fit for you with everything that you've
Absolutely.
just said. So again, it's not that people should take on charity roles to elevate their brand, but actually that is an added bonus if you can support something that is aligned to everything else that you do, and that you do get something back as well as giving your time and support to that as well. So
100%, and I think it comes back to, I know it's an often used word, authenticity, but you've got to really live it and feel it and be it. And if you're just doing it for token kind of charitable work or whatever it is, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't resonate. So you've got to live it and feel it. I mean, you saw at the event, James, the founder of Space Northeast, was there. And I'll big James up as much as possible. I mean, I didn't let him stand on his head at the event that he wanted to, because we were talking about superpowers and that was his.
And can he really do that?
Yeah. Well, I think he can. He's never
We'll
done it.
find out. We'll have to ask him.
And he's certainly never done it in front of 150 people. But yeah, I'll always champion these causes. And it's not just those causes. You know, we exist to, I really feel that business is about collaboration, and certainly in the Northeast, where we've kind of maybe been left behind a lot of the time. And, there is undoubtedly, in my mind, a North-South divide. And I think collaboratively we can really rise up and become our own Northeast powerhouse. We don't have to wait for other people to do it. We can do it as business leaders, and by coming together, we can really elevate the Northeast. And I think I'm really passionate about that.
And that comes across. And actually, I think if I was to describe your brand, like enthusiastic would definitely be one of the words.
Yeah, it's often said, yeah.
But consistently enthusiastic as well. And I think it's infectious, because you're like, oh, yeah, I want to do that. I want to do all those things.
I'm struggling to be in a chair with a big microphone in front of me.
So interesting, you have quite a few different hats, similar to me, in that, you've got the big role, you've got the coaching, you've got some charity things, etc. etc. You've got all these different things. One of the things I get asked about a lot is, how do you know which one you're talking about that day, or how and a lot of people will say, oh, well, I avoid talking about anything because I feel like it's confusing, because one day I'm this and the next day I'm that. How do you handle that?
I don't have that kind of strategy. What I have is, and what we teach in Is This You, is we have a strategic longer term objective, which is a couple of years down the line. We know where we want to be. And I think if you start at the point where you really know where you want to be and you live that, then you can align all of your decisions and you work on a weekly basis to it. And then I reverse engineer it. So I've got quarterly targets, I've got monthly targets, and then I have a win the week methodology. So within that week, there's key things that I want to be either promoting, selling, working on, but I've got a lot of flexing around it as well. So I do prioritize certain things that I need to within that week, but quite often conversations just lead into it. And I think that's where it comes from, having that natural engagement and communication with people and those relationships that you can build.
So you're kind of basically not getting too in your head around, oh, today I am the big, today I'm this. and just talking about whatever fits at that point, whether some natural event happened and you're then talking about the event, or you've got something coming up, or you're promoting something or whatever, and you just focus on that rather than have to start a post with, oh, today I'm this person or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way.
It's very flexible, and because there's so many links between what I do as well. So for instance, at an Is This You event, I'll deliver on that, but I will get asked about the BIC, or we'll talk about business support, and I'll know where's the best place I can signpost that person. So we'll bring the BIC in that way. Growth Lab is just an ever present in my life, so it's regardless of where I'm actually, which hat I've got on, and the BIC also. So it all fits together quite nicely. I don't struggle to manage those things. What I do, I suppose, not struggle to, but I've got a really kind of a program around, is what my priorities are, and I must have certain key tasks delivered each week, because if I do that, I know that the long-term goal is getting closer and closer.
So what other things are you looking to try that are going to increase your visibility?
I'm just really getting more on the podcast scene.
Yep.
I'm a huge believer in the power of podcast and long-form content and building a relationship through podcasts. So this is one of them.
Yeah.
We've got an Is This You podcast as well.
I've been on it.
You've been on it as well, haven't you? That's right. So check that one out. I do quite a lot of speaking, but I'd like to, increase that. And I definitely want to develop a book with you, Sophie, because I think I've heard about your retreats and I'd love to do that. I think a book is definitely on the cards. I've got an ebook, which is part my story and part a framework for building that life and business. But it can only be quite condensed. But I'd like to do a deep dive onto the story and the lessons and everything that I've been through.
I think that'd be mega for you, because you've got so much of a story, and it's the thread through everything that you're doing. And I think when you get to the point where you do a full book, I think you'll say, I wish I'd done this sooner, because that's what everyone says. And it will elevate, the speaking opportunities that you get. It's going to provide content for everything else. And then it's that instant credibility piece. In our world, people do write books more than the average person that you sort of see on the street. But it just adds so much value in that. It was funny, actually, at the event on Friday, someone came up to me at the end who had my second book, and she asked me to sign it. And I was like, no way. Like, I haven't seen this one for a while, because that was, 5 years ago or something. Wow. So I love that she'd got it. I think she'd said she'd seen me speak at another event, had bought that book, and it really helped her. And this was what would happen to you loads because of the topic of your book. It would be so personal, I think, as well as practical. So I feel like you would get lots of those moments where people write to you or message you or whatever it is to say that. And I think the satisfaction you would get from that would be really powerful. I think you'd get loads from it. But I mean, I love the book. So book, podcast, so
more networking. Mm-hmm. So this is a collaboration, but we have launched today actually Apex, which is our
tell
networking.
Us about that.
So Apex is a networking event where you want to be in the room with the right people, because we know that you can dilute your entire schedule with networking and maybe not going to the right ones and having more of a strategy around it. So I've actually taught the strategy of networking in certain events and in certain workshops, and it's kind of bringing that in to make sure that you are going into a room with the right people, with the right content, and you are going to be entertained, but also have some real insight and some relationship building. And we launched the launch party launched today actually, which is Apex. So I hope to see you there, Sophie. We did have it all pinned down, and then we put some teasers out. And it was so well received, we've decided to revisit the venue, go a bit bigger.
And how big is bigger?
Definitely 100 plus, maybe 150. Just a little plug, we're going to have a film made by Howl Studios, and it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be a lot of fun and really exciting. We're going to have some great brands associated, and we are going to really hopefully bring an exclusive event, but with a lot of humour, but the right connections and the right people.
So what about Is This You? What's happening there? What should we
Yeah.
expect coming?
Oh,
Tell
Is This
us.
You? So exciting. You know, that is the foundation of everything. So Is This You is myself and Phil Gray, who you know, Steve Baharrell, who you know, and Dave Baharrell, his brother, who you also know. And yeah, we're very experienced business people. I personally had 30 years in business, would you believe, before email. A couple of seven-figure companies. The guys have all done similar, and we've all been through a lot of challenge as well.
And how did you meet each other?
So I met Phil at university
No
35 years
way.
ago.
And you've stayed in touch?
We've been firm friends ever since.
That's nice.
So
I didn't know that.
our first meeting was at an Elvis karaoke, believe it or not. And we've done a few business ventures together in the past. One of them, I don't know if you're familiar with Elf Run, Sophie. We tried to break the record for the world record for the number of elves in one location over Christmas, and it was
Why?
well, I'll tell you what, because this was life changing. So we managed to get the Metro Centre basically open its doors, but just for us. We put, I think the record was 1900, and we got something like 1850.
Elves.
Elves.
Is this people dressed
Kids,
up?
little kids.
No way.
So the kids were all dressed as elves. All the parents came. We raised, I think it was 10 grand for charity.
Nice.
But the thing that changed my life was we filled a Luton van. You know those huge removal vans. We filled one of them full of toys.
I thought you were going to say children.
No. We kept the children in the location. We didn't. And that's a twist.
Plot twist.
And we delivered the Luton van full of toys to the Children's Heart Unit at the Freeman, and we gave them out like it was Santa. And at that point, I realised that up till then, I'd really run businesses to earn money, and a whole bigger purpose was born really that day, because I've never felt like that before, or I hadn't felt like that before. And so we kind of wanted to instill that in everything we did, and things changed from that day, to be honest. So we got loads of press about that. We didn't break the record, but that record is still open.
Yep.
It's still
Opportunity
2000.
to come back.
So that's it, yeah. So we've talked about with various charities in the past. We just need to pin that down, and we'll run it again. But yeah, it was amazing. So that was myself and Phil really leading on that one, and Phil's team. We both came to the point where we'd exit our businesses. I was looking for a new purpose. Purpose is being everything. You get to that point where you just need to feel that you are making a difference every day, and I think that was what I needed. And Phil was fairly similar. So we came together, we discussed the coaching and how our experiences could help people. And then Phil said, right, we need to talk to Dave. So we talked to Dave. I'd met Dave a few times in the past, and we hit it off from where we left off many, many years ago. And I'd met Steve as well, but I didn't know him as well. And we just all got together and started talking about what we can bring. And, we didn't do this in a what is commercially viable. We did this in what do we love? What do we want to bring? How can we help and impact people? And we built Is This You? And yeah, we spent about 8 months building the assets, the resources. We had a year-long assessment from the Chartered Management Institute, and we launched in really commercially in January 24. You were there.
Oh.
So you did a keynote there, and that was the first time we met.
Yes.
So we've gone from strength to strength since.
Yeah,
We've done lots of coaching for CEOs and founders, lots of coaching for their teams to become high-performance teams. We've done, and we launched the Academy, which was what the year-long Chartered Management Institute accreditation was for, so that we can coach coaches. So we've got our first cohort on now, which is 20 strong, which we kept it at 20 because we want to have that personal approach. And it is super strong. So we've got an amazing cohort of people, all from different backgrounds, exited founders, business leaders, people who've been coaches but want to build a business under our brand, because it's hard to do it on your own.
And is that what they're doing then, coming through this? They then build a coaching business under your brand?
That's
right.
Right. Or they can take what they've learned and bring it into their corporate life. So we've got a few on the cohort who've done it through CPD. So it's because it's all about people skills. And I think, especially with AI now, And it goes back to personal branding. How do you elevate yourself above these automated, generated posts, and how do you know what's real?
Yeah.
And it's that personal brand, but it's also the having that the people skills, the emotional intelligence. So these are elements that we teach. How do you lead? How do you inspire and motivate? So these are key qualities that people are going to need in the future when kind of AI is doing all that automation and processing. You're still going to need that human connection. And I think that's a really strong message that we've got within the academy.
And how important has it been for the four of you as founders to have strong personal brands to attract people onto this initial cohort?
I think it's everything. I really do. Phil and I have slight disagreement about how important it is, but I think I've just won him over today, actually, right now, because he came to the event on Friday, and I could see something dawning, and and then we've decided, we're all in on the personal brand but I think the personal brand elevates the business brand.
It does.
With that kind of, everybody's inbox is so full. What's going to stop them scrolling? What's going to stop? And it's you. Mm-hmm. It's you. Your personality, your face, your connection. It's that. So it's kind of, we build the personal brand, but we obviously build the business brand on the back of the personal brand. The business brand is getting stronger and stronger, as you'll know through Moja.
Yeah.
It will stand on its own eventually. But we need to build that brand.
Giving it a bit of rocket fuel from the four of you. Love
100%.
it. Love it. John, we could talk all day, but there's been some really great conversation there. I'm sure the viewers and the listeners are going to love that. If anyone listening or watching hasn't come across you before, where is the best place for them to find you?
It's always LinkedIn, It's John Forth. It's Is This You? We're all over LinkedIn. We're on isthisyou.com. For sure, come on LinkedIn. You can't miss us.
And we'll pop those links in the show notes to make it super easy for anyone to connect.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sophie.
Thank you.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. If you're serious about growing your profile, take our free profile assessment quiz to see where you're at right now and get hints and tips on how to improve your score. You'll find the link to the quiz in the show notes. If you've enjoyed the episode, it would be mint if you'd subscribe, like, and leave a review. See you next Monday.